Welcome to Sex, Lies, and Blank Pages with our very special guest, Ines Johnson.
Hi,
Welcome!
thank you guys. Thank
Woohoo!
you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you on. I obviously know you. You just put on Terra World and I'm in it, and we all know you. But for our audience who's listening who may not have heard of you yet, would you mind introducing yourself pretty please?
Hi, audience. I'm Ines. My name's Keisha Shanae. I go by my initials NS because easier to spell because I've got a lot of vowels in my name. When I tell people that, they're like, "That's so pretty." I'm like, "Yeah, spell it." If you could see when I go to like Starbucks or a coffee shop and they're like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "Keisha Shanae," and they spell. It's hilarious. No one has forgotten it. So I write very spicy fantasy and romantasy romance under the pen name Ines Johnson. I have some others that are clean and wholesome, and I'm coming out with a later in life one because the
Ooh.
hot flashes are happening now, and I want
Girl,
to talk.
yes!
Oh my God. Girl sister, yes. I'm like, she's like constantly a heater. Why am I always hot?
My children are in their 20s, but they're children. They come into my home and they're like, "Okay, where's the blankets?"
Yep,
Yeah.
same here. It's
And
like
then
an
I
icebox
go
here.
visit my mom now, and she's going on the opposite. She has like the fire on the front, and like it's like 80, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not. I'm like, yeah, I might own it. We're our own furnace right now. Like,
And you've been in the industry longer than I have, right?
Have I? I come from screenwriting. I come from television, and I can
Ooh,
Miss
still remember
Stacy.
being
Yeah.
I can still remember being on set. I was working on a like one of the Saturday morning children's television shows, and I was reading Twilight, and I was like, I could do this, and I wrote a romance
I
while
think you
on a
and I were the
children's
same
television.
time then. Mine was right when Twilight was, I was like, because it kind of brought out paranormal again. And
Right,
I think I thought the same thing. I can do this.
do this, and I did it. I wrote the smuttiest thing while on a children's television show. We're on a farm. I was writing during breaks. I was writing the smuttiest stuff, and I put that book up, and I made like $100 that first one. This was in December of 2014 that I put the first book up, and I made $100, and I was like, "What? Oh my gosh, what's happening here?" Because it was like a 99-cent book, so you're making like
Hmm.
30, 40 cents for each sale.
Hmm.
I was hooked.
Yeah. So that was 20. So you've, for over a decade now,
No,
you've been an author. I'm
wow.
yes.
assuming that you love this more than being on set, or maybe equally so.
No, I was never, I hated being on set. I was a producer. So what, and we've talked a little bit about this. So what the favorite part of my job was what's called doing script breakdowns, where often I'd be writing the script, but then I would have to take like colored pens and highlighters, and I'd
Mhm.
have to go through the script and highlight to figure out the production cost. Because when there's a prop, you need to highlight it. When there's a specific actor, you need to underline it. That's how you figure out the budget. And that was my favorite part of my job. And you guys can't see, I never put the camera on my desk area because if you could see the amount of pens that I'm surrounded by, the amount of notebooks that I'm surrounded by, you would say I have a problem.
You want to
Just
do
just within
We would not
reach,
show
I
you have a
have
problem.
many different colors.
yeah.
I'm like, I have, yeah.
This is within reach.
Oh, yes.
And
But
that's
look
the
how
small one.
organized they
I
are.
love it.
Right?
I love
Make me cry.
it.
Yeah,
Everything
it's
has a
funny.
different
You
color.
and
I
I
love
kind
it.
of come from a similar. I was also in LA. Well, I was in LA doing the acting, directing, set design. That was where my background kind of stemmed from too. So, I script writing though. That's a whole other, like, well, I think you said it's another type of brain like you have to use for that. Like me, I'm like, I wanted to keep writing. I'm like, oh, that's cutting down.
Yeah.
Do that well.
So you started with Twilight. What
Mhm.
was your first book?
So my first, the first book that I ever wrote and published is called The Pleasure Hound. It was set in a dystopian world where women were scarce. So men had to pair up if they had any hopes of marrying one woman. So it was MMF, the Sword Stick Cross, and I had the best time writing that book.
I love it.
I've literally never heard of that premise before in my life, and I love it. This is fantastic.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I didn't really know what I was writing. I remember one of my beta readers read it and she was like, you might want to introduce some lubricant in here. Oh,
I got
You're
told
like,
that
in my
too.
world, we don't need it. We're lubed
Yeah.
enough, right?
I got told that too. And she was a vampire. And I was like, well, how do you know that vampires need it?
Self-lubricating.
It could be. It could be. I did go back and add it though, just to be sure. Just to be sure. Just in case. Yeah. But you have bebopped around and you have seen a lot in the industry, just like a lot of us have.
Mhm.
Um, so I have a question that I ask everybody. Some people love it, some people hate it. If you don't want to answer one part of it, you don't have to.
okay.
What is your high high and what is your low low?
And I can take that in any manner that I want.
Mhm.
For career.
Okay.
Yeah. Any manner that you want.
Well, it's interesting because that it really becomes about perspective, Willow. Because I remember I partnered up with a bigger name author, like an author who had she's indie, but she had hit the New York Times as an indie. And I
Mhm.
partnered up with her and I wrote a book and she basically published it. And I made, I think maybe it was $3,000.
Mhm.
And I that month. And
Mhm.
I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this just happened. Oh my, you changed my life. And that was a high. That was a high of my career. Because remember, I made $100 when I
Yeah.
published the first one, and I had maybe made maybe $1,000 a month, like after that, maybe.
Mhm.
And so this was, I don't know, maybe about 3 years into my career. I had never hit like $3,000. What? And I thought I'd arrived. And then I published what still is my bestseller today. And that's under my sweet pen name, Shanae Johnson, which is my middle name. And Shanae Johnson hit like multi five figures in a month. And I was like, say what now? And I couldn't believe that happened to me. The second pen name, totally different genre, sweet romance, but I learned so much. And I thought, again, this was maybe 3 or 4 years later. And then because in addition to being a screenwriter, I was a teacher. I loved teaching screenwriting. I love teaching production. I love teaching craft. It is an absolute passion for me. And so I remember when I don't know how much numbers I'll talk, but Shanae had made hit like 20,000 in a month, and I thought it can never get better than this.
Yeah.
And then I wrote my first nonfiction book, put it up on Kickstarter, and I was like, I'm gonna make $5,000. I know this is gonna be an amazing Kickstarter.
Wait,
And
when was this? What was this? Hold on. What?
this was in January of this year.
Of this year? Yeah.
Shoot.
That Kickstarter that I thought I was gonna make $5,000 on, it made $5,000 by lunch. I
Yeah.
published it, maybe I published it at like 8 in the morning. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I went to lunch and I remember opening up my laptop and it hit over 5,000, which was my 30-day goal.
Yeah.
I think I went to bed that night and it was at 20. It
Mm.
ended at $50,000.
I would have passed
Yeah.
out.
I have goosebumps.
Right? Everybody who's listening right now, let's lift up a glass and have a cheers
Cheers
to
to
that.
that.
Cheers.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
amazing.
So when you say like what's the high, like every time I dream something, like I wasn't even conceiving that. I thought $5,000.
Yeah.
That was like my highest goal.
Mhm.
So
I
I don't
love that you're like, well, it keeps coming. I keep having high. Let's keep doing that. I love that.
Well,
Keep
you think
doing.
our job, I mean, it's a roller coaster. So that you're constantly going on highs and lows,
Yeah.
highs and lows, highs and
Yeah.
lows, So yeah, there isn't probably one like just one.
Well,
I
it's just that they keep coming. They
Mhm.
just keep coming. And I've hit lows where I've thought that um I was going that a series that I had done was going to do extremely well, and it hadn't. It didn't.
Was it like a passion project?
It's always a passion
It
project,
is.
and
It's always a
whenever
passion
it's a
project.
passion project, you sink money into it because you believe it so much, and you tell everybody about it, and then it goes.
Yeah.
Oh
You are
God, there's
not
nothing.
alone in that. I know it's so common
It's
in the industry. And I think sometimes it's that our creative side, kind of blocks out the entrepreneurial side. Or it's just we needed that book for ourselves. Not
Yeah,
the
sometimes
world
it's
isn't ready for
timing
it.
because
Mhm.
I feel like sometimes like it's just all about timing that I could have wrote that maybe a month later and it would have hit and then or a month, 2 years from now, that's that genre has its peak. Because I feel like dystopian's finally coming in and I'm like, but I already did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed it. So I think sometimes it's not about you, it's not less, it's just maybe the timing just was off for it.
That could
Yeah.
be. And I know
Absolutely.
one of your wait, achiever and discipline are in your top five. Is positivity in there?
No.
And
I know
no?
it's not. I can remember them when you say them to me. I'm not in my office and I have them on the wall because I can never remember. I'm number one, discipline, number two, achiever. And then I know that focus is in there, learner is in there, and maybe it's intellection. And I couldn't tell you the order.
Yeah.
I
I'm
am
surprised about
very
positivity.
regimented.
You have a very
Yeah.
positive like feel about, you feel like, yes, we can do this.
I
What
just
can
want to
we do?
smile around you.
Like,
I know.
I talk to you guys every day.
Same.
I just I have an healthy or unhealthy, depending upon how you look at it. I don't have a fear of failure. When it comes to business, I'm always like, well, let me try it. Because in my mind, if I try it and it goes wrong, then that's a time saver. I don't go down that road again. Great. Thanks for the lesson. Let me go this way. And so I see my children, especially, they have a fear of starting. They will call me or talk to me. Well, what if I did this? Well, what if I did that? And in my mind, I'm like, just go, pick any
Sure.
direction and go. I don't know how that didn't get transferred. I feel very bad that it didn't get transferred. But in that respect, because I think just have a trust of myself that if it goes wrong, I'm gonna handle it.
Exactly. It's going to be okay. One of the best things I think for my business that I ever did was fall in love with failing. Because if
Love
you're in
it.
love with failing just as much as you're in love with success, it's just something that happens and you're going to do it anyway. And you're going to be able to get up faster. You're going to be able to learn from it, pick it apart, see what you like, what you didn't like. Is there something I can change? And do it again without fear. Because fear is a problem. Like
It
I'm a
is.
smile today without fear of tomorrow type person. Like just do it, have fun with it. If it,
Yes.
like you said, if it fails, you're gonna handle it. And that could be a very difficult thing for people who are afraid of trying or
yeah,
haven't failed, especially failing publicly. I think a lot of people aren't afraid to fail as much as they're afraid of other people seeing them fail.
Dang it. That is true.
Yeah, and that stops a lot of people from moving forward. But switching topics just a little bit, I definitely want to talk about the Luna Terra world because I was so happy Ines invited me to be a part of the Luna Terra world with Witch's Fate. And now you are planning like a whole, first of all, Edges on Amazon, a whole Barnes and Noble tour. Like you take everything and I think you just
Yeah.
make it so lovely and do it up to the most and with all the good feels and smiles. So I will zip it so that you can take it from here.
So yeah, I remember I was at Ram and I love talking to Sky Warren and listening to the things that she says and then doing like a tenth of what she says because I'm just like I can't do all. I think I love a full plate, but
Mhm,
she has a full plate and so I usually I listen to everything, but I decide to do like one thing. So
mhm.
she was just telling me about all the collaborations, and I love collaboration. Again, I come from television. I'm used to being in a writer's roundtable where you're bouncing your ideas off of people, and I miss that. And really, the real reason that I wanted to do Lunaterra, to do the shared world, because I wanted to make more friendships and I wanted to deepen my friendships. That's really why I decided to do it.
I
But
love
I
it.
and that's what happened. I was like, who are the smartest women in this business that I would love to work with and love to just be around their energy for an extended period of time. That was really what I was thinking about. Some people I didn't even read. I just encountered them and I was like, oh, yes, I want an excuse to come and just talk to you. And so I developed this world. And again, I knew from television that you had to give boundaries, but you had to make those boundaries flexible so that creativity could thrive. And I'm a control freak, but not when it comes to an art project. When it comes to the administration, that's a different story. But when it comes to the actual creation, no, let's figure out how to make it happen. So I did that. I invited a lot of people, and so many people said yes. I was floored. I had thought it was going to be 6 people. Like maybe 15 people said yes, and then some weren't able to meet the deadline. And I think I had asked maybe 20, maybe.
Yeah.
I was floored at how many people said yes. But a lot of people said yes. So I made this romantasy world because I saw romantasy on the rise.
Yeah.
And I said, you guys, look at these. I came in with my data. I came in with my spreadsheets. Like, look at what I found. So I found some categories on Amazon, short romance, short fantasy romance, really short fantasy that were being underserved. And I said, I think we can get a foothold in here if we do this, this, and this. And we did that, and that. And the series did really well. And I just took that and I was thinking, well, how can we keep this going? So I thought, well, at first I thought let's do a Kickstarter, but I didn't want to be in charge of the Kickstarter.
I don't blame you.
No.
And then I thought, well, how can I make this work with everybody having everything on their dashboard? And I got on the phone with Barnes and Noble. I got on the phone with Amazon, and I'm lucky that I've not even lucky. If authors go to these conventions like NINC, like Author Nation, you will meet these people. They want to talk to us. So I go to these conventions and I've talked to the Amazon reps. I talked to Google Play and Apple and Barnes and Noble, and I held up the book to Apple and excuse me, to Barnes and Noble. And I said, you guys know you can do these edges. And they were like, no, we can't.
Mhm.
Yes, you can. I printed this with your printer. Say what now?
Mhm.
They didn't realize, a lot of times they don't realize, because that's not their department. They're not printing the books. They're not doing stuff behind the scenes. But we are banging on the equipment and trying to see what we can get away with. So I said, you have this ability. If I got authors together and I got us all to put our books up like this on your site, would you support us? And of course they said yes. So not only did like Barnes and Noble say yes, they're supporting us now in doing an in-store tour.
Mhm.
Amazon saw this, and then their print department called me and was like, okay, we have questions. Like, what are you doing with our equipment and how can we capitalize on this? Because again, they weren't thinking the way that we do. They're thinking, is this working? They're not thinking of how all the different ways that I can make this work.
Mhm.
So we put our beautifully edged books up on Barnes and Noble and up on Amazon, and readers saw that and they were like, yes, this is fantastic. I can get this delivered to my home. I don't have to travel somewhere to meet you. So that was working out extremely well. And I'm just constantly thinking of how else can I leverage this thing that I've already done to make more money with it.
Exactly, because when we have IP, we need multiple revenue streams. I do have an idea, and this might be something, I don't know if we might edit this little section out. I just need to say it before I forget it. We just had Dana on from Influence, and just thinking about a Kickstarter, could you imagine doing all of us in a huge set on a Kickstarter? And if we gave it to her, she literally does all the work. Like I'm doing one with her right now. I did the one in Vegas, and I'm getting ready to do or for the Love and the Rave. She handled that for Author Nation,
Wow.
and then she's handling with Laguna a comic one that I'm doing. Um, but I could see her putting something together for us.
A new idea, a new or the books that
One's
are already
already done. Why not?
really.
Why not? Special edition box set. We could do Velvet.
Velvet, that would be
Be
cool. And that's
gorgeous.
the only way I do a Kickstarter like you is if somebody else does it.
Literally, I'm like, yeah.
I've heard too many people tell me like your whole life goes to like working on a Kickstarter. Like that's all you do. And I'm like, nope, nope, not for me.
I
Yeah, that's
do
what I was thinking
love
before I got on here.
I love doing my Kickstarters and everything, but I reached out to her because I'd done the Vegas one as well as getting ready to do the Laguna comic one with her. And I had an idea for a Terra deck. And she took that idea and just like it exploded into something absolutely beautiful that I've never done. And we just did the pre-launch this weekend. It's launching in October. But yeah, I could see something really beautiful happening there.
I'll be calling you back.
There we go. Yes, I'm glad that I got it out of my system. We can leave this section in if we want, or we could take it out if we don't.
Well, yeah, let's leave it in and see what they say. Do they
I
want
know,
that? They
right?
want velvet
Yes,
covers?
it could
I'd
be
be like,
right. 'Cause it's like
stroking.
literally, wouldn't that be gorgeous? Like or some, I'm sure that we could do something amazing with it. It's just an idea came to me, and I literally thought I could see all of our books lined up in a beautiful thing on Kickstarter. When you said that you didn't want to do it, I was like, I have a solution, and it's not me doing it.
Doesn't that feel good?
It does. Oh
It
my
gives you so much
goodness.
more energy.
It really does. It makes me want to take a nap. That- With all
Gives
of
me so
my
much
extra
energy. I want
energy.
to take a nap.
Literally. But yeah, I love all of the ideas and how you've just tried to make the most out of existing IP, which I do think probably comes from that, like that, you have your discipline mentality and your achiever mentality, but having that background with screenwriting and just coming into the industry knowing that there are so many different revenue streams that could come from this and so much that you can do with a workable IP. I do think it like you might have a little bit of an edge. I think you have a lot of bit of an edge just because of the discipline that you have and the
Well, and also the
organization you have.
background you have, because there's a lot of us authors that we have maybe those ideas, but we don't have like, we're like, oh, that's a lot of work. I'm going to put that
Executing
to side,
strength, apparently. I have a lot of executing strength where people will, I hear a lot of times people will start talking about an idea. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I'm typing. They're like, yeah, let's talk about it next week. I'm like, wait, I just got
I'm already
started. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's me.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that's a good quality because I think
Yeah.
because we were talking to somebody, Shannon too, was talking about like she has a lot of ideas, but putting them through, and that's me too. It's like I have constantly wanting to think, but I'm like, oh God, I'm already exhausted with what I have. So then I ended up pushing it on the back burner, you know.
You have to be, and I've trained my children and my friends to say, do you need me to listen or do you need me to problem solve? Because now I'm already going to be reaching out to Dana. Like
Yeah.
I'm already making my to-do list. Like you only
Oh,
have to
now
tell me
I'm just
once.
coming to you and going problem solving. Wink,
Yeah.
wink.
And that's why I have so many people on my team is that delegating. Because I know
Yeah.
some people love to do certain things. Not saying Colleen loves customer service, but she's very good at it and much better at that. But I love to delegate too, because that helps me to get things done. But you are also a doer yourself and organized. And your kids are older and out of the house instead of, yeah, mine
It
are
makes
still
it
very
so
much.
much easier.
Yes, mine are still swinging from the curtains and needing to be, picked up after cross country. So Jax is trying out for cross country this
Yay,
week.
fingers
So
So
crossed.
exciting.
very excited, but then we're late for this with Evie, and
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's a
I
lot.
don't miss that. I'm
It's
sorry.
a
You
tough
can do
season
it.
of life.
Yeah.
Get yourself a steering wheel desk.
Yep.
A what?
A steering wheel desk. Or
Yeah.
type it in on Amazon. It's magic. So whenever I would be like at soccer practice, I would grab underneath my car seat. There's this little steering wheel desk that literally it just clips onto your
Clips on.
steering wheel, pull out my laptop, get to work.
Oh
Mhm.
Costs
my,
like $15 maybe.
Yeah.
that's
Steering
brilliant.
That
wheel
is
desk.
because you hear so many moms that have to go pick up their kids and sit in that long line. I'm like, that would be just.
Mhm. Yeah. Or it's soccer, when soccer practice is 2 hours long and the
Mm-hmm.
sun is like beaming down, like
Yep.
being in the car and air conditioning working and having an office in the car, that actually is a lifesaver. So thank you. Life tips. You heard it here first on
All the mothers working out there get a steering wheel desk.
Yes. Oh, I bet you have a lot of these. But because we have a lot of, I was just thinking, there are a lot of new authors
Mm-hmm.
or readers who want to be authors.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you would have good tips for somebody. Like, what kind of advice would you offer to somebody who's listening to you right now, who loves what you're doing? And I don't think everybody can do what you do, that's for sure. But do you have any tips?
I do. First, let me tell you that I do write a Substack because I have tons and tons of tips. I have a free Substack at substack.ines. How is it? ineswrites.com-sub. I don't know. Look for Ines Writes on Substack.
We
You will
can put
find
it,
me. It's free.
yeah, and we'll
Yeah,
put it
we'll
in the
put it
caption.
in
Yeah.
Yeah. Send it to me and
there.
we'll put it in the caption and they'll find it.
ineswrites.substack.com. That's what it is. But yeah, we can put it down there as well. But so if you're let me talk to you this way. If you're a mom, start getting like Monica Leonel and Chris, can't remember his last name right now. They both wrote books like the 8-minute habit, the 15-minute habit. Like
Hmm.
if you can find pockets of 10, 15 minutes at a time, I write in 25-minute sprints. And
Mhm.
I don't I'll tell you right now, I never tell the truth about how many books I'm writing at a time because people always look at me like I'm crazy, but I write more than a book a month.
Mhm.
And it's because I block out the time. Even when I was a mom, I would get up before my kids because I'm a morning person, but I know some other moms who would get up and write after their kids went to bed, but you can do this in 25 minutes at a time. And I got to where I could write like almost like 1,500 to 2,000 words in 25-minute sprints. You can be typing, you
It's
can be dictating,
fantastic.
right?
Yeah.
So, so finding those pockets of times, whether you're a mom or not, like if you're taking a lunch break, well, can you devote half of that lunch break to typing out those words? If you take like pretend you're a smoker and go and take a smoke break.
Yeah.
But you're typing or you're talking into your phone and you can get your book written that way. So that's the first thing. Find the time because it's there. It is there. Like I've grown addicted to watching YouTube reviews of like really bad reality because I don't want to watch the reality show, but I want to hear what people are saying. So I will
Cliff
watch
Notes
these like
version, right?
45-minute
Yeah.
recaps when I could be writing.
I like the ones with the dry erase boards where they start doing arrows of the like
It's ridiculous. It just lets my brain go to mush for a minute, and my brain really appreciates that. So that's the first thing, is to find the time. The second thing is, I preface this by saying I come from screenwriting. I did not know that there was such thing as a pantser. I'm like, what? Why? Why? But here's the thing. Those distinctions don't exist in screenwriting world. What exists is structure, and we're taught structure. Whether you write an outline or not, that doesn't matter. There's still a structure that you have to follow. And I think that's more important because number two, achiever in me is constantly thinking, well, if I want to tell the story, well, what is the structure of this particular story? Like I'm about to write a new romantasy that's going to be enemies to lovers. Well, there's a structure to enemies to lovers. There's a structure to romance. There's a structure to romantasy. There's a structure to enemies to lovers. Then there's a structure even within that. If I'm going to have tropes of he falls first, well, there's a structure. Well, he has to meet her. He has to see her. She has to reject him at some point, and then maybe that's when he falls. There's a structure. So what I love to do is to just go and just look at all those structures. And I'm a list person too. So I like to just write the list. Well, in this particular type of romance, I should have this. Maybe you can just check them off. So even if you want to hold on to that pantser identity, cool. But you should still be studying your craft. And the best way for us to study craft is to study structures of storytelling. And those are the things that readers are expecting. We call them tropes. That's what readers are expecting. That's the patterns that we've seen over and over again. Readers really like this. Readers really dig into this and they get really comfy and cozy. So why not make sure you're doing it? So
I
those are my two tips.
two
Find the
tips.
time, study
Yeah.
the structure.
I have never read a craft book, but I have taken, who is that at RAM? There was a professor who talked about the addiction to fiction.
Jennifer Lynn Barnes.
Oh my God, I love. I've
Mhm.
listened in on it twice, and I also recommended to Joe to bring her to Author Nation if he could. And I know that he reached out, but she wasn't available. Love her. I'm more of an auditory. I think instead of reading a craft book, I need to start listening to audiobooks on craft.
Absolutely. I love Jennifer Lynn. Not to one up you, Willow Winters, but I love her. I love what she did so much. I started to read her professor's papers on the psychology of fiction.
Oh my God, I love it.
So
Okay,
obsessed.
we're going deep in.
I know, right? Academia over here. We are academia girls. Oh, we also have readers who are listening.
Mhm.
We have
Mhm.
readers who listen. And I would love to know if you could pick, I don't want to say your favorite, but I do want to say your favorite or your favorite for readers to start. You could pick one or two. What do you think? Because I know you've bebopped around and you've written a lot.
I've
So
written a
Yeah,
lot.
maybe your favorite in each genre.
yes.
So I love what I'm writing right now. Like if you want something that's out right now, I recommend my Terra book, which is The Beastly Crown, which is I was having a conversation with another friend of ours, Theodora Taylor, and we were talking about Beauty and the Beast, and we're talking about how um at the end of the movie, when he transforms back into the prince, most little girls were like, oh. And she was talking about how she was walking around Disney and all you see, or Halloween, all you see are the beast costumes. Nobody's dressing up as a prince.
Mhm.
And so I thought that was fascinating and fantastic that we all have this fantasy since we were kids of banging the beast. So in the Beastly Crown, my beast character, because it's Beauty and the Beast retelling, he does not transform back into, well, he technically does transform back into the prince, but the heroine takes one look at him and she's like, oh, and he's like, what's wrong? do you not like this? She was like, yeah, you're cute, but I really fell in love with the beast. He's like, cool, no problem.
I'm like, now I want to write a version where the prince is the beast the whole time, and then at the end he changes into the actual
Right.
beast.
Yeah.
You know,
See? See? So
Yeah.
yeah, read the Beastly Crown. What's coming out next is I love retelling fairy tales and folklore. It is my favorite thing in the world to do. So what's coming out next, I'm not sure when this goes live, but I have a series called Wicked Evermore, which is flipped fairy tales starring all of the villains we love to hate. So Sleeping Beauty is the bad girl. Excuse me,
ooh,
Sleeping Beauty is the villain in My Wicked Beauty, and Maleficent is the heroine who the prince was in
you
love with the
sound
whole time.
fun.
Ursula pretends to be Ariel and steals Prince Eric. The Snow Queen goes after Snow White, but winds up falling in love with the huntsman.
Mhm.
Chef's kiss. I get to be a bad girl, which is because I'm such that good girl. Front of the classroom, number two pencil out.
You don't
I
These
tell
are
start.
when
my
you're
Yeah,
things.
reading professor papers and
I know, right? And
you would
highlighting
stop
them.
it. Teacher, I know the answer. I'd be
Yeah,
like,
with
yeah, I
different
know.
color highlighters. Yeah.
That was me. That was me. So I'm living out my fantasies in these books. Yeah, they're all done. I'm running this the last week of my Kickstarter on them, where I'm launching them on Kickstarter first. All the books are written. So
Mhm.
I'm trying this thing where I now early release all my books on Kickstarter to basically pay me in advance.
Mhm. It's
And
also
then
It's
mhm,
also a style of marketing, and some publishers will do it, especially when they pick up like Bravo celebrities or people where they do a hardback first or a special edition first. And that
see?
way, that's very rare for a special edition first. That's something that we're doing. But with that way, you're getting that higher ROI so that you have a
Yeah,
stronger support structure in
yes,
the beginning.
yes. So I'm gonna start in the black.
Yeah, and I love that model for that reason. And that way, like there's less pressure on the
Yeah,
launch emotionally, which
there's
I
no
feel
pressure.
can hinder your creativity. So I've switched to that style as well in the last few years. Yes, like I'm launching um Last First Kiss, which is a collection of dark romances. I already released a special edition in my boxes this summer, and then I also released
Mm,
on Kickstarter in Decadent Edition last year, and the ebook is only just now coming out. So yeah, I'm like
I love this.
I do too. It makes it relieves a lot of pressure, and it also lets you have the prettiest version of the book first, so you know you're gonna get it right. It's not like, well, if it does well, then, especially
No.
that can be your higher profit
I didn't
margin.
even think of it like that. I love that. I love that mindset.
And that's
Yeah.
what you're doing. So I freaking love that. Yeah. I think that that might be, and I know we're getting towards the end of it, but I think that might be where the industry is headed towards, with launching with the special editions, with having the tiered systems and
Yeah.
subscriptions, where you know that you're
Probably.
secure in your artistry,
Yeah.
because that really creates a healthy mindset for creativity.
I agree. I agree that's where the industry should head. I think those of us who are fearless will head there. I don't think that the majority of us are going to do that.
I do like, and I know that the state of the industry and just it is exploded, right? So
Yeah.
we have a lot more authors. I forget what the statistic is. I need to look it up
Oh, I
because
just read something, Colleen. I sent that to you that I looked at, and it was like just in the month of August, there was like another like
Yeah.
42,000. I mean, the number was insane of just books released in romance and
Yeah.
romance only too. And it was like, oh my God,
I mean,
like
just for
insane numbers.
the lifetime of our species as human
Yeah.
beings, and the number of books that were produced, it's like dramatically exponential in the last 20 years. Like it's the vast majority is in the last 20 years
What's
of
scary is
books
though, I saw
of all
another
kinds. Yeah.
statistic that says that 42% less people are reading. Yes,
Oh,
we
that
have
makes
our big,
I believe
strong book
that.
talk. I
yeah.
do believe that. I think you guys, we get so stuck in this book world that we only are surrounded by readers.
Oh, that's
The
fair. That's fair.
majority of the people out there are reading
Okay.
less and less. And
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm like, that's scary.
And they're
Hmm.
also doing more short things like
Yeah.
articles or short form media like social media. Um but yeah, I I have faith that we will succeed in this and that we will be
Mhm.
shining lights for
I
people who
agree.
need
No
it
doubt.
as the industry transitions into whatever is coming. And I also love that not just switching this marketing strategy of the higher ROI first and the stability upon release and starting in the black, but also, like you said, multiple revenue streams for your IP and thinking about things critically and making the most of it rather than just pushing the book out, hoping that it profits
Yeah.
or trying to get profit and then feeling a loss if it doesn't, which
Yeah.
is not good for mental health. The
No.
way that, the industry has been run, especially for indies, has not been good for mental health, and it takes a lot of control away from us for a new release to need to be successful in this one manner that everybody else is doing and has been doing, but has changed so dramatically. I feel like we could have a whole nother episode just on that. Although
Just
it's
on our burnout of that. Yeah.
yes, I know, right? And also like just brainstorming ideas. Like I love one of the reasons that I super love talking just to you all the time is just the brainstorming and thinking critically and picking apart things and well, what is working here and what is possible here. And it's very inspiring, I think. I hope that if all of our listeners, I hope that you're feeling inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah. And being
Yeah.
innovative. Well, I think is innovation one of your top? I would be, I know it's not the top 5, but I would be shocked.
No, I
Was
can't
it?
remember.
I needed to take
I
this
can
test
remember
because you
one
guys
and
all know
two.
it. I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I'm futuristic. I could swear I'm one of my top is futuristic, and I swear one of your tops should be futuristic, but I know it's not one of your top. I remember we looked once. But it should be because I feel like what you do is a few steps ahead for what
Take it
everybody else.
again. You're wrong. You did the test wrong.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But you know what it is? I see what someone is. I feel like a lot of people will look at something I'm doing, something that you're doing, and they just want to copy. And I've never been that person that wants to copy. I've always been that. I've been self-centered in the best way, where I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing. That's fascinating. Let me take what you're doing and put it through my glasses, knowing that I don't see exactly as you do, knowing that my books are not exactly as yours. So I have to make alterations to give myself and my books the best chance possible. And I think so many people skip that step.
Yeah.
So when
Oh,
you and
I
I
hate the
talk,
copy and paste.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, the
when
copy
you
and
see
paste.
PR and marketing doing that, like basically
Absolutely.
Because it's
copy
not
and
going to
paste.
work for everybody.
I
Makes
think
me
the
crazy.
reason they do it is what we've already touched upon. It's fear. I
Mhm.
think they have a
They know it
fear.
worked.
Yeah, and if they
Mm.
change something and what like they just need it to work and
Yeah.
they're afraid that if they
Yeah.
do anything, and a lot of people when you lead with fear and when you don't lead with like, well, how does this focus on me? Well, how can I put these through my glass? Well, and think critically about things or try to be innovative with things, or try to get the next step ahead, you are going to fall behind, right? If you're not trying to get ahead, you're going to fall behind, and it's unfortunate, but also people are made differently. And this is a hard business.
It is.
This is a very, and a lot of people don't think that it is.
No,
It might not have been as hard 10 years ago in
it
some
wasn't.
ways. Not in some
Not.
ways, yeah. But
It keeps changing.
it does.
Yeah.
It's changing. I love that you're in it though, I will say. And I love that you reached out and that we did Luna Terra. And I can't wait for all of the wonderful things that are coming up next.
Now we need these velvet covers. I don't know what we're
I
doing,
know,
but we
right?
need them.
I don't have a
And
velvet
people,
cover.
yeah, and people that are watching, if you want another reason to feel like she is above and beyond, every painting behind her daughter did, and they are stunning. So you've got
Yeah.
to watch this episode because, and the way you're sitting, it looks like
It's a
you
crown.
I
have,
know it's like a
yes.
sunflower with my head, my
It's
crown.
I
Incredible.
was like, it's so perfectly like headdress, but like you're that. I
Yeah.
mean, like, it's overachiever.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the class with the rest of this.
So, two things. Is there any shout out you want to do? And could you tell us your social media handles and where our followers can follow you?
I don't know who I would shout out to. No, because the strengths finders is hilarious. So everyone uses Becca Syme for their strengths. She's my dating coach. So shout out to Becca trying to find me love. Thank you.
I love it.
And yeah, you can find me. I'm on TikTok. I can't remember my TikTok handle because I have more than one. Just look for Ines Writes and you'll find me. If you want to find me on Instagram, where I sometimes will walk me writing a book and talking about breaking down all the tropes that are in the books and where I am. I sometimes do that when I feel like it on Instagram. Those are the two best places to find me.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on, everybody. Leave your comments below. Remember, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.